Hi, and welcome to another English class with Richard. Hola y bienvenidos a otra clase de inglés con Richard. Hoy voy a seguir con mi curso de inglés intermedio alto. No, creo que no he hecho una clase de este curso desde marzo, me parece. Casi estaba terminado. Pero lo dejé. Y ahora, pues la cosa es que tengo tantas clases en mi canal que son temas de principiantes o intermedio bajo o intermedio, que son los niveles A1, A2, B1. Pero no tengo tantos videos. Bueno, tengo este curso. Que este es clase 14, que lo dejé en marzo. Y ahora también he empezado grabado, no en vivo, un curso que es en el C1, que es avanzado. El asunto es que tengo he tratado de los mismos temas de principiantes tantas veces en este canal que la verdad que estoy aburrido de esos temas. Entonces, por eso quiero hacer temas más avanzados. Un problema que tengo con eso es que esos temas de que estoy tratando, realmente, cuando llegues al nivel B1, ya no deberíamos usar nada de español. Pues la verdad es que lo que queremos cuando aprendemos inglés es usar lo mínimo de español desde el principio. De hecho, en la clase, estoy enseñando en una clase, físicamente, uso muy poco español hasta que con los principiantes. En YouTube tuve que adaptar mis cursos un poco y en los de principiantes y intermedio bajo usé mucho español por las limitaciones de YouTube, o sea, no tengo retroalimentación, entonces por eso hay más español. Si tomas una clase física, no en YouTube, o en una escuela o algo así, es mejor tener menos español. Hay algunas metodologías que dicen nada de español. Yo no estoy exactamente porque hay que estar, ¿cómo se dice?, pragmático cuando enseñamos. No es bueno quedar con solo una metodología, dogma, no sé cómo se dice en español. Bueno, ya he salido del tema. La clase de hoy es nivel B2, clase 14. Este nivel es un muy buen nivel de inglés y no he traducido las cosas que tengo en esta clase en español y la mayoría desde ahora va a estar en inglés. Antes que empezamos, vamos a ver quién tenemos en el chat. Recuerda que el chat es solo para los miembros de mi canal. Si quieres unirse a mi canal, pueden haciendo clic donde hay el signo de dólar abajo del chat. Y pueden participar en el chat. También después de la clase comparto los PDFs. So we've got Norma and I've got a new member, Karen. Hi Karen. Muchas gracias por unirse al canal. So Norma and Karen, if you have any questions, si tienen preguntas en esta clase, ahí está el chat para preguntarme. Ok, estoy hablando demasiado, vamos a empezar la clase. Déjame mover este aquí. Hoy vamos a ver, el tema es past modals. Modals, I think, debería estar hablando en inglés, past modals. Pero voy a hablar lento, okay? Past modals. In previous classes, we've seen modal verbs, which are special auxiliary verbs in English. So we saw here to begin, I have like a revision of some of the modal verbs that we've seen in the present. Now we always use modal verbs in the present in the same way. That is, the structure is we have the subject, we have the modal verb, and we have the base verb. The modal verb is always followed by a base verb. It's never, you're never going to put to here. Okay? So, 2 modal verbs, or more than 2 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 modal verbs that we saw in previous classes were must, can and can't, could, may and might. So before we begin, let's have a look at how we can use, or some of the ways we can use these modal verbs in the present. First of all, we can use the modal verb must for strong assumption. When we think something is true, when we are 99% sure that something is true. For example, I could say it must be, I'm going to change this because the time is different. It must be, let's change it, let's take out the clock. I'm not going to look at my clock, but I'm going to say it must be 3:36. I didn't look at my clock, so I don't actually know the time. I don't know the time, but if I say it must be 3:36, it's a very strong assumption. So I'm going to look at my clock now, and actually it's 3:38. So I was 2 minutes out, but I was 99% sure. If I say it must be 3:36, I'm very sure. If you used must in the present in this way, it's a strong assumption. The opposite is it can't be 11 o'clock. So here I'm assuming that it is not 11 o'clock, but I am very, very sure that it's not 11 o'clock. I'm 99.9% sure that it is not 11 o'clock. So in the present tense, we can use these 2 modals, must and can't, to make strong assumptions. Strong assumptions. So another group of modals that we can use to talk about possibility in the present is could, may and might. So I could say it could be, let's say I could say now it could be 3:40. It could be 3:40. Here's is a possibility. It could be 3:40. Or I could say it may be 3:40 or it might be 3:40. These mean the same thing. I think probably may is more formal and may and could are more formal than might. So I could say it could be 3:40, it may be 3:40, it might be 3:40. This is a possibility. It's different. If I say it must be 3:40, I'm 99% certain that it's 3:40. If I say it could be 3:40, or it may be 3:40, or it might be 3:40, I'm less than 50% certain. I'm not certain at all. I'm only saying really that it's a possibility. So these are how we can talk about assumptions, strong assumptions and possibilities in the present. Before I continue with the past modals, talking about strong assumption and possibility in the past, I just want to mention that must can also be used in the present for obligation. I must go now because I'm late. This is obligation. This is a different use of must. And the past of that is I had to go because I was late. Okay, so let's continue. And remember, Karen and Norma, if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat. Sorry about the dogs. So let's move on to the past modals. Hold on, let me stop my dogs because they drive me crazy. Hey. Yeah, I couldn't concentrate. So let's carry on with past modals. So let's have a look at some examples of how we can talk about a strong past assumption. So here I have a statement: I've lost my keys. I've lost my keys. These are the keys. Actually, I haven't lost my keys because they're here, but imagine I've lost my keys. So I could make an assumption. I must have left them in my jacket. I must have left them in my jacket. Fija la pronunciación, pero, sorry, that's Spanish. Notice the pronunciation, but later on in the class I'm going to talk more about the pronunciation. I must have left them in my jacket. So this structure here, subject, I, modal, here is the structure here. Subject is I, must, the modal verb, plus the auxiliary verb have, followed by the past participle of the main verb. So notice the difference between the present and the past. If I can write on here. So in the present it would be I must leave. I must leave my keys on the table. Actually, that doesn't make total sense because that would be obligation. But maybe it's better to use the example there and just look at the structure. It must be, so notice in the present, here we followed by the base verb. But in the past, we need to use the modal plus have, auxiliary have, plus the past participle. So if I say I must have left them in my jacket, this is a strong assumption about the past. No, wait, I can't have left them in my jacket because I didn't wear a jacket. So this is a strong past negative assumption. If I say I must have left them in my jacket, it means that I am 99.9% certain that I left my keys in my jacket. If I say no, I can't, here I put this in brackets because it's not actually necessary to repeat that. No, wait, I can't have. It's possible to say no, wait, I can't have because we already know what we're talking about. Or no, wait, I can't have left them in my jacket because I didn't wear a jacket. So this is a strong past negative assumption. And here's another example. Somebody, I'm sure I put them on the table. Somebody must have moved them. Somebody must have moved them. So this is how we make a strong assumption about something in the past when we don't know for sure that something happened, but we are 99.9% certain. So we can do the same thing with past possibility. Past possibility. Somebody might have stolen it. So I can't find my wallet. Sorry, I should set the scenario first of all. I can't find my wallet. Somebody might have stolen it, or somebody may have stolen it, or somebody could have stolen it. These three mean the same thing. They mean exactly the same thing. May and could are more formal than might. So they mean the same thing, but here it's not it's only a possibility. If I say somebody must have stolen it, that means I'm 99.9% certain that somebody stole my wallet. But if I say somebody might have stolen it, well, it's only a possibility. It's like 50% or less. Somebody may have stolen it, somebody could have stolen it. So these structures here are subject, modal, plus have, plus past participle, past modals, using modal verbs, using auxiliary verbs in the past. I must have left them in my jacket. I can't have left them in my jacket. Somebody must have moved them. Somebody might have stolen it. Somebody may have stolen it. Somebody could have stolen it. More examples. He hasn't arrived yet. He might have gone to the wrong house. I don't know if he went to the wrong house in the past, but this is a possibility. He may have gone to the wrong house. He could have gone to the wrong, this should be the wrong house. He could have gone to the wrong house. These three sentences mean exactly the same thing, only in order of formality, the most formal is he may have gone to the wrong house. The second most formal is he could have gone to the wrong house. And the least formal is he might have gone to the wrong house. So here I have these ones. It must have been 10 o'clock. So I've done the same ones I had here in the present. It must have happened at 10 o'clock. What time did it happen? It must have happened at 10 o'clock. Or the negative, it can't have happened at 10 o'clock. So it must have happened at 10 o'clock. I'm 99.9% certain it happened at 10 o'clock. It can't have happened at 10 o'clock. I'm 99% certain that it didn't happen at 10 o'clock. And then finally, it could have happened at 10 o'clock. It may have happened at 10 o'clock. Or it might, here I've got been, but I think I should change that to happened. Let's change it to happened because it makes more sense. It could have happened at 10 o'clock. It may have happened at 10 o'clock. It might have happened at 10 o'clock. It means the same thing. Only as I said earlier, may is more formal than could, and could is more formal than might. Might is the least formal. So remember this structure, talking about making past assumptions and talking about possibilities in the past. There are other ways, but this is one way in English we can talk about past possibility and make assumptions about the past when we don't know something for sure, but we're pretty certain. We can use must have, or in the negative, can't have. Let's continue with the next page. So here I have some negatives. So as we saw, and Karen, I think Karen and Norma are in the chat. If you have a question, Karen, you can ask me in the chat about anything to do with English. So let's carry on. The past, as we saw on the previous page, the past of must have is can't have, or we can also use couldn't have. He can't have been hungry because he ate a very large meal. Or he couldn't have been hungry because he ate a very large meal. Notice here that there's a difference between could have in the positive and couldn't have in the negative, because could have, he could have been hungry, it's like only a possibility. It's like 50% or less. Could have been hungry. But couldn't have been hungry is I'm 99.9% certain that he wasn't hungry. It's the same as he can't have been hungry. He can't have been hungry, he couldn't have been hungry. I guess couldn't have is a little bit more formal. So again, we see here the negative of must have, they must have got lost, is they can't have got lost, they had a map. Or they couldn't have got lost, they had a map, if you want to be a little bit more formal. And up here I've got another note because there's a difference between the verb got, the past participle of the verb got in British English and American English. In British English, the past participle of the verb got, which is a very important verb in English and has many different meanings, is got. The verb is get, sorry. And the past participle of the verb get in American English is gotten. So this sentence here in American English would be they must have gotten lost. Or and this one would be they can't have gotten lost. Here's another example. They haven't arrived yet. They could have got lost. In the present, in the positive, getting my Spanish mixed up with my English, they could have got lost. This is a possibility. Notice they couldn't have got lost is a strong assumption. We're 99% sure. They could have got lost is only a possibility. So then the next one we have is they might and may not have realized it was your birthday. So here we see the negative of may and might is may not have realized or might not have realized. Remember that may not have realized is more formal than might not have realized. Okay, so one more past modal that we're going to look at today is should have. Should have. You should have told me you were married. So this is the same structure, should plus have plus past participle. Use this structure to say that somebody didn't do the right thing. Okay, in the real world, that person didn't tell me that they were married, and I say now you should have told me you were married. It's like could be like a criticism, or the negative. I shouldn't have got drunk last night. I shouldn't have got drunk last night. So this one, the second one, can be used to talk about regrets. Regrets when you do something in the past and then you wish you hadn't done it, you can say, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. So notice the pronunciation too, because I'm using contractions and the have is reduced. And I think that's what we're going to look at on the next page, because some people have a problem pronouncing this. So the normal pronunciation of must have is must have. Must have. This is the way native speakers are going to speak. Must have. Must have. Could have is could have. Could have. Could have. Could have. Might have is might have. May have. I don't think may have. He may have done it. This one, because may is a little bit more formal. It's not so common to use the contraction, or is it? Let me think about that. He may have, yeah, we do. Okay, I think the thing is here that you can't really write this. I mean, the other ones, you could write them. If you were writing an informal email, you would be okay to write these contractions. But may have doesn't look correct written, although we do reduce the have when we speak. So may have is the correct pronunciation, but I don't think you should really write it like that. And finally, should have is should have. Should have. So in a minute I'll read some more examples with that pronunciation. And in the negatives, can't have, can't have. I've written have as like uv here, uv. Obviously, you don't write it like this. That's why I've put not written like this. This is purely to try and show the pronunciation. Might not have we don't really say mightn't. It's possible, but mightn't have done it. No, I think it's too, even for us, it's too difficult to say mightn't. So it's more common with might not to use a contraction, but the have is still reduced. Mightn't have, might not have. And could not have, couldn't have, shouldn't have, for should not have. So let me repeat these again, and if you're watching you can repeat after me. Must have, could have, might have, may have, should have. And the negatives, can't have. I think I've commented before that in American pronunciation, can't has a different pronunciation. I can't really do an American accent, but it's more like can't, something like that. Very bad American English. Can't have in British English. Couldn't have, and shouldn't have. Okay, let's continue with some more examples. I think using the correct pronunciation. So to practice the pronunciation, you can repeat after me. I'll read each one 2 times slowly and repeat after me to practice the pronunciation. They may have left early because of the holiday traffic. They may have left early because of the holiday traffic. They might have taken the train. They might have taken the train. He might have received the message. I think this one will be better in the negative actually. Let's change it. He might not have received. Let's change it. That's better. He might not have received the email. He might not have received the email. He could have become a doctor. He could have become a doctor. This means that he had the ability to become a doctor, but he didn't become a doctor. He could have become a doctor. Next one. Repeat after me to practice the pronunciation. He couldn't have seen you, it was too dark. He couldn't have seen you, it was too dark. She can't have passed the exam, she didn't study at all. She can't have passed the exam, she didn't study at all. You must have known that we had a test today, the teacher sent us all a message. You must have known that we had a test today. The teacher sent us all a message. You should have told me about the sale. I couldn't have got... Sorry. You shouldn't have told me about the sale. I could have got some new shoes at a discount. So a sale here, sale like as a verb means when you give somebody something and they give you, this is a noun, the sale is when it's a noun to describe when you give somebody something and they give you money. But here, the sale means when stores or shops sell things at a lower price than normal. Like in the United States on Black Friday, the prices are reduced, so they have a sale. You should have told me about the sale. I could have got some new shoes at a discount. Okay, good. So I've got some questions for you. to see if anyone's been paying attention. The chat really is only open to members. I've only got Karen in there. Karen, are you still there? Because if Karen is not going to respond, I'm going to open the chat. I think I need to open the chat anyway. Oh, I've also got Carlos. Sorry, Carlos, I didn't. Hold on, because I don't have the chat. I can't see the chat. Carlos, sorry, I didn't see, and Sylvia, sorry, I didn't see you because the chat, YouTube puts it in some strange mode. So I should have 3 people in there then, Karen, Sylvia and Carlos. Hi Carlos, and thanks for joining the channel. Thanks to Sylvia for joining the channel, and thanks to Karen for joining the channel. If anyone else wants to join the channel, click on the $sign. So, Carlos, or Juan Carlos, I guess it is, Karen and Sylvia, if you can hear me, you can answer the questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can also answer the questions, but you can't write in the chat at the moment. So rewrite the following sentences using a past modal. So I think to help you, I'll do the first one for you. I'm sure I left my umbrella at home. So if a person says that they are sure, it means that they're very certain that something happened. And this is in the past. So how can we do this, say the same thing with a past modal? Does anyone do Karen, Juan Carlos, or J. Carlos, and Sylvia? Do you know the answer to this using one of the structures that we've seen today? Well, I'm going to help you with the first one. And then if I don't get any answers from you, I'm going to open the chat to everybody who's watching on YouTube. I'm sure I left my umbrella at home. So using a past modal, we could say, I must have left my umbrella at home. I must have left my umbrella at home. Norma, Karen, Sylvia, Carlos, are you there? Because if you're not, then I'm going to open the chat. Well, I'll open the chat, but you, the members of my channel, are going to have priority. So Norma, Karen, Sylvia, and Juan Carlos, I'm going to open the chat because you're not responding. But if you do respond, you will get priority, or if you have any questions, because the chat, let's just open it here. Where's the options? If I can find the options, which I can't. No, they're not there. Oh, what happened to the options now? They disappeared. Oh, that's strange. There used to be options to change this. That's very strange. Oh, hi, got Karen there. Yeah, thanks for joining, Karen. Do you know the answer to this question? It's number 2. Number 2, I'm sure Ben has read my email. So how can we say that, Karen, using a past modal? Find the settings, is it there? Well, very strange. I find that option. It's very, sorry, it's like an intermediate class. This is a problem. And I can't find the options to, what happened with those? Because they used to be here. Maybe they're somewhere else. Ah, there they are, there, I think. No. Can't find the options. YouTube has changed something here, and now there is no options to change the chat. That's very strange. What happened? About chat, toggle timestamp. There used to be a settings thing here, and it's disappeared. What No, I can't find it, and there's nothing there either. Let's look in the other bit. Let's look somewhere else. Completely disappeared. Well, I can't find the options to open the chat. Or is it here? No. It's gone. There used to be an option in the chat and it disappeared. Seems like it's very difficult. Where is that gone? Sorry, I'm trying to find the option to open the chat, but I can't find it anywhere. So I don't know what happened to it. It used to be clearly labeled in this live dashboard, and it's just disappeared. It's no longer there. Click the edit button below. No, I can't find it. Okay, it says stream settings has moved. Yeah, thanks for telling me. Click the edit button. Yeah, sorry, they moved it. But I still can't find it. So I think I'm going to have to leave the questions because I can't find how to open up the chat, so I can't ask anyone the questions. Can't find it anywhere. It disappeared. Disappeared. It should be here. Ah, here it is. I've found it at last. They've moved it. Okay, I've done it. Yeah. There's a message on YouTube. Stream settings have moved. Click the edit button below to find all of your settings in one place. Yeah, great. Thanks for telling me. Okay, the chat is open. Sorry about the delay. So, who can answer the questions? Let's go back to the questions. Number 2, I'm sure Ben has read my email. Who can say the same thing using a past modal? Anybody? Ben must have had. Yeah, so Stral, not almost correct. Yeah, almost. You just missed out. I think you missed out my. Yeah. Ben must have read my email. Let's highlight these. Number 3, Janet is crying. Perhaps she's had an argument with her husband. So perhaps is an adverb which means possibility. So how can we say the same thing using a past modal? Perhaps she's had an argument with her husband. I think there are 3 possible answers here. 3 answers. 3 possible answers. Okay, yeah, so Rochia said could, may and might. Very good. But can you write the whole Yes, Strali. She might have had. Very good. Yeah. So actually, there are three possibilities. She might, could, or may have had an argument with her husband. So we got three possibilities. Let's move this back on the screen. I can't do that. A lot of, that's it. Number 4. Let's move that over there. Number 4. I'm sure Mark and Sarah haven't got lost. They had a map. Who's got the answer? How can you say the same thing using a past modal? Now, maybe it's not a past modal, Cole. It's an adverb, which can be used like could have, may have, could have, or might have. Yeah, very good, Rochi. Mark and Sarah can't have got lost. Mark and Sarah can't have got lost. They had a map. Mark and Sarah can't have got lost. They had a map. Right, let's not put that in bold. Perhaps Steve didn't hear you. Perhaps. An alternative to perhaps here would be maybe. Perhaps or maybe Steve didn't hear you. How can we say the same thing? Perhaps and maybe are adverbs which indicate possibility. But how can we say the same thing using a past modal? Anybody? How can we say the same thing using a past modal? Steve couldn't have heard you. Very good. Yeah. No, actually, sorry, it's not, because it says perhaps. And couldn't have heard you is the same as can't have heard you, which means that I'm 99% sure that he didn't hear you. Remember, could have in the present is different from couldn't have. Sorry, could have in the positive is different from couldn't have in the negative. He couldn't have heard you, no. Because couldn't have, remember, is not the same. Let me put it up here again. In the affirmation, in the positive, sorry, I'm thinking in Spanish. In the positive, we say he must have heard you, means that I'm 100% certain or 99% certain that he heard you. And the negative of that is he can't or he couldn't have heard you. But so let's put this up here to make it clearer. This is 99.9% certain. Okay? He must have heard you, he can't have heard you, he couldn't have heard you. But if we're only talking about possibility, it's a possibility. We say he may have heard you, he might have heard you, or he could have heard you. And the negative would be he may or might not have heard you. The thing is here that could in the positive is only a possibility, but couldn't in the negative is a strong assumption. So he cannot have heard you. No, because he cannot have. Here it says perhaps or maybe, and that's like possibility. So he cannot have heard you is like 90%, 99% certain that he didn't hear you. But I don't want to say that. It's only possible that he didn't hear you. Maybe he did hear you, maybe he didn't. It's 50-50. I don't know. But there's a possibility that he didn't hear you. He must have heard you. No, that means that's the opposite. I'm 99% certain that he did hear you. I don't want to say that. I want to say that it's possible that he didn't hear you. He must have heard you. No. What I'm talking about here is a negative possibility in the past. Who's got the correct answer? I've already written the answer at the top. Anybody? Well, I'm going to give you the answers at the top. Steve might or may, if you want to be more formal, not have heard you. It's a possibility, a negative possibility. Steve might not have heard you, or Steve may not have heard you. I'm sure Maria has bought a new car. I'm sure Maria has bought a new car. Anybody in the chat got the answer? Yeah, very good, Rochi. Maria must have bought a new car. It's a strong assumption. I'm sure Alex wasn't very ill. Ill means sick. In Spanish is enfermo. I'm sure Alex wasn't very ill. Anybody got the answer to this one? I'm sure Alex wasn't very ill. No, Alex must have was sick. No, there's not. You're not going to use was after. Yeah, it's past participle. You need to use the past participle of the verb be, Rochi. The past participle, not the past. Was is the past of the verb be. You need to use the past participle of the verb be. So the first bit is right. But also this is in the positive and this one is in the negative. Wasn't. It's a negative. Not been. Well, the answer is, yeah, I think you've got the answer there, but it's messed up. Alex, no, it's not must, because here up here we have the negative. This is the negative. He can't have heard you or he couldn't have heard you. He must have not been ill. No, because we don't must. The negative of must in this sense is can't or couldn't. Like we've got up here, look, I'm 99% certain he must have heard you. Negative, he can't have heard you or he couldn't have heard you. So what's the answer? Alex, he can't have been ill. Very good, yeah. Alex can't or couldn't have been very ill. Good. They didn't come to the party. Maybe they didn't receive the invitation. So remember, maybe means possibility. So who's got the answer to this one? Maybe they didn't receive the invitation. Anybody? They might not. Very good. Strali. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but very good, yeah. They might not have received the invitation. Good. So I think I've got some more questions. Oh, once again, I didn't save. Well, I got a couple here. I did more, but they didn't save. So I got to, yeah, I mean, I had like 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 questions here, but I've lost them. So anyway, got 2. Respond to the first sentence using should have or shouldn't have plus a verb from the list. Sue is in bed with a stomachache. She... Who can give me the answer here? I did have like 5 questions here. 8 questions and I've only got 2. But anyway, remember should have and shouldn't have we use for things that happened in the past that we regret, things that we wanted to happen or would have been a good idea for those things to happen that didn't happen, or things that did happen that we wish hadn't happened. Yeah, so Strali and Rochi have the correct answer to this question. She shouldn't have eaten. So it means it wasn't a good idea that she ate so much cake, sorry. I had 8 questions here, but I've only got 2 because they didn't save. So let's just do these 2 anyway. We couldn't understand anybody in France. Yeah. Who's going to be first this time, Rochi or Strali? Strali Brali. Strali, you should have learned. Yeah, you missed the D, but it's okay. You should have learnt. You should have learnt some French before you went, but you didn't. The reality is you didn't. Okay, unfortunately, I lost 6 of my questions, so that's all I've got for today. Once again, thanks to the 2 people who joined my channel. I don't know if I can still see them there. Yeah, Jay Carlos and Karen, thanks for joining my channel. And I hope to return soon with some more videos, maybe some easier videos, easier live videos. But I want to finish this course too, and maybe also start the advanced course, which I've already started. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.